Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending where I have the pleasure in speaking with you from today, and a very happy new year. We are just in the beginning of January 2020. So congratulations, making it to another decade for everybody. We wanted to start this year off with our web series and really focus in and around some new things that are happening around the project environment, but also in and around the Microsoft environment. Now, all this is recorded if you're joining us from an on-demand. Thank you very much. You can definitely make sure you fast forward and rewind back to the particular demos that we have today, as well as make sure that you subscribe if you're watching this on our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube so you can get this, but also other recordings that we've done. So today, what are we going to cover? We're going to look what's new with the releases. Top left-hand corner, we're going to take a little bit look at how Teams is integrating with this PPM tool and see some new cool things that have been popping up there with Teams itself. We're going to talk about the cross-platform as well as some latest releases on the tool set itself, being Microsoft Project and Project Online. So you're joining us today. You may have seen some of our other webinars. We have a web series that's happening all and around the modern project. Now we're going to talk about a little bit of that today, but we're not going to go into too much detail on the project for the web, but I will talk to you about it and we will address that today. But if you want a deeper dive, join us in the next couple weeks here, the 14th, 21st, and 28th. There are the times for you, as well as on the 30th of this month, we're going to be getting into a Power App integration and then collaborative work management. That's going across a little bit more on what we're going to do and really start to use some of the other tool sets, meaning Power Automate, you might have heard of, in inducing those reports for Power BI. Now, if you're joining us from the YouTube channel, these are dates that are here. You might already have some of these and you can follow them. There is not a particular sequence of these, so I do recommend that you just search for what you're looking for or reach out to us directly and I'll pull up that slide at the end here. All right, well, before we get started, what are we talking about and what is actually new with the tool set? And before we get there, we'd like to understand maybe how you folks are working. And that's one of the biggest areas what's new here is the trend that we're seeing across all industries, across all organizations, is how people are working. Now, as I cough under my breath and saying we're all getting younger, right? The workforce that's coming through is getting younger, and how they work and how they respond to not only tasks but projects and related information is going to be different. So if you're a project manager listening to this, you might have seen some of our previous webcasts. Your role is changing. That's good. Let's embrace it. Okay. So let's understand how folks work, not only us, but individuals, but also groups. So we'll look at the me work, the we work. That's really where you're saying, hey, whether it's in the same organization and you're walking over to someone's cubicle, or more and more today, you're doing some remote or maybe a cross-location teamwork. How does that all get done? Moving up to the department area and really understanding, all right, now we have an initiative that's going to be maybe by the IT group, maybe by the engineering group, whatever happens to be. And we might actually get cross-departmental at that level. And then we have this work that's being folded up and some might tap it into portfolio management, but it's this company-wide using resources across all organizations. Now you're going to raise your virtual hand, say, I sort of have some of all this. How do I see it all? And really, where can I see and what's the new trend that's coming out here? And we're going to get into that during the demonstration here. But for those folks that want to tie not only process but also this thought into each other, we take the same colors here, the red, blue, and green, and yellow, and really move that right into. Now this might be new for some people, being able to use it across all devices, but also leverage what people are already using. Now this is a Microsoft webinar here, and we're saying use any tool that's out there. Get your work done, make it easier for you. We're going to show you how using Microsoft platform can go across all these, but if you're using something else, don't Don't cast them out. Let them use it. Bring them into the fold as long as we can report on it. And then you know what? They're going to see some new tools and maybe easier solutions that are out there. Then they might adopt that. So going from individual all the way through that formal project management is what we're going to be talking today. Now, as far as the tool set that I mentioned there a couple times, we have Microsoft M365 or Office 365, you might hear it. But this new area is really what we're talking about. And you can sort of line some of these up in the left-hand corner. We're talking about project. That new area, which is project for the web, is going to be for our lightweight. And I really like to call them citizen. Heard that term, and I like to stick with it. Citizen, or these casual project managers that are out there. And that's really the work. So when you start to see it, it's going to look really flexible, easier. This is going for direct competition with Smartsheet and Asana and some of these other tools that are out there. And as those tools start to charge for additional users, you know, under your agreement or however you have it, you might have this capability already ready for you to turn on. Now, the biggest, newest, hottest trend here is using modern work, the shell here. And what I like to call this is really the service, which is Teams. So we just talked about 3, 4, 5 different things and said, hey, bring those other tools in. Well, how can people keep it straight? So what we want to offer up to everybody is the one area where they can go across and say, hey, I have work to do. Where should I be? So not only is this slide purple, but that's the color for Teams. So when we get into the demonstration, you're going to see this common area where we're going to do all of our work as a citizen project or casual project manager, all the way into more project management. So that's where we're going to serve it up. Now you can see some other areas. At the end of this, we do have slides for each one of these. So if you haven't heard of maybe workplace analytics yet, or you're just unsure of what Azure boards do, we'll explain that at the end. But just high level, going around the corner, Power BI, analytical. Takes, you know, analytical reporting, you know, versus that hard set fast report that you're going to give to somebody. They can go in there, slice and dice, drill in, do some queries, start to use AI to look at the data for us. Visio, a lot of folks know what Visio is, but do you know that Visio can create a diagram from Excel, that sort of swim lane diagram that you need for your workflow? And then you could take that workflow and push it into project. That's pretty cool. We have a website on that. Go check it out. Or sorry, a webinar on that. Go check it out. Workplace analytics. I can't talk enough about this. This has everything to do with personal work management. And so go ahead, search that, and it's really cool. Azure Boards is in your DevOps. You know, these are the folks that are going to be using storyboards and different things. You think of the terms of Agile. This is a direct competitor of Jira. It's Microsoft's tool. It has came up from the Team Foundation Services, or VSDS, transform all the way into Azure Boards. Now the green areas project is why you're joining us today. Planner is a lightweight task management system. It's not an assignment, so we'll talk about that. And then Dynamics is, again, not only for your CRM, your sales, they have different modules across the board, but harness all this stuff into Teams. Now today we're going to walk through a couple different scenarios. We're going to talk about project management and how the trend, again, using a collaborative tool like Teams is going to be able to not only plan projects, but report on them up through resourcing and seeing that there. We're going to talk about portfolio management in there, and we're also going to talk about project collaboration. Now, in a normal demonstration, you know, before Teams came along, this is all we talk about. But the solution goes across it. And this is really what we're talking about, is this trend of work management. Get stuff done. Allow your organization to do what they do best, find quickly what they're supposed to do, and then go off and do it within any application they get assigned. I don't need to then go ahead and drill into something. I don't have to know my passwords for things. I just go ahead and get it done. All right, so I'm going to bounce back over. We're going to make sure that everybody can see this. I'm just going to wait for my colleague just to give me the virtual thumbs up. You can see this. And I just got that. Thank you very much. All right, so what are we taking a look at? On the left-hand side, we are looking at teams. You can see that's purple. In this scenario, which we also recommend, is that for every team, we have a project. So think about it. We have all of our projects here, new store opening. We have different CloudCom projects, Sun Farm, whatever it happens to be. And these are what I can see. So single sign-on. Here's my person up here. I happen to be a domain admin today. And I also can go in, to my calendar. I can see what events actually are coming up, my discussions, other things that are here. And this is just your Outlook calendar. So a nice steady integration there. And then again, with calls management, we happen to do a lot of video calls. And then what a lot of folks like is, hey, what was I just working on? Okay. I don't need to know what project it was on particular. I can just come in here and say, okay, the project charter, let's go check that out. And if I drill right in here, notice on the left-hand or right-hand side here, it says low complexity project, general. I can either come in here and open it directly in this browser or say, hey, go off and open it within, in this case, it's a Word document. It'll open it in Word. If I go ahead and just click on this, folks, I'm gonna show you, it is opening just within Teams. I don't, again, have to navigate anywhere else. I go off and I start to work on it. This is where M365 comes in, multi-editing, okay? So how can a simple document repository help us out when we're talking about getting work done? Well, if you have a particular task, okay, that we're working on, and let me just actually go back to that really quick there. We happen to be working on this document and say, hey, I need a little help on this. Right from here, I can go over and we can have a discussion, okay? So I can come off here and I can actually add my comments in here, and I can also do discussion-based things right through here. Well, when I come back to my project, I'll wrap this all together here. Here is our project, and we have a tool that's running for us here, and you can see that. There was a request, okay? And we have a talk about ideation. You can just search there for that. Say we had a request from a business area, and it comes off, they fill off this document here, and it's a dynamic doc. As they start filling things up, tabs pop up, and we can see that we're under review. We go through this whole thing, and I could submit it, okay, or save it, and it's gonna go off potentially to my next area. All of this is talking about project ideation, okay, or getting this project, this idea, all the way to an area where we can say, hey, it's a type of project and it might have this rigor, okay? Now, for this particular project, we know it's a lightweight project. I wanted to show you this rather than going through all this, evaluate disposition. I'm gonna actually advance here. Now, when we get into our area, we're gonna start to see some of these. Remember, there's that project charter that we just talked about. And again, if I open up this project charter, I could actually see those discussions that we talked about in this area over on my conversation. And here we go. Danzel says, please review this document, etc. And then Albert says, did you see this, etc. You're having an active communication on a document. Think of it in terms of deliverables, deliverable approvals, all right? This has the capability to approve a document. We can see that directly within the tool. We are using SharePoint here, folks, within Teams, and it can also advance or complete our task. Review, complete a document, design document, project charter, right? All of this flows through our organization. Well, let's say we want to take a look at our projects, our schedule, and we want to come in here. In this case, we want to go take a look at a timeline. Again, we're served through Teams. I haven't opened another application. Nice lightweight feature here. This is new with Project Online. So I can see I have phase 1 and I have done something, say, you know what? I want to add a phase 2 here, and I want to go ahead and select a bunch of tasks here. Oops, use my shift key rather than control key. And I'll go ahead and indent this, promote these, or make a subtask in this case. So now I have my phase 2, and I'm actually going to move this one back out just one. So we have phase 1, phase 2. I could go ahead and take this and drag and drop. When I do that, you can see that my dependencies move out. Think of how fresh and easy this could be for somebody. Hey, let's go in, create a bunch of tasks. Right here from here, I can come in here and say, hey, we need Denzel on this and Deborah, okay? Or I can go off and search. If I want to change my task and see information, I can click directly on that and come in here. I see who is it assigned to, start and finish. If we are tracking % complete, I can see that. And then, bucket, planning bucket, execution, etc. Let's take a look at what that means. But this bucket area is an area for us to logically group our tasks. Now, as I come in through here, we showed you that we can drag and drop. We can also make dependencies. I can drag this down to here. Directly from here, it's a live area. Now, you might say, yep, I get it. That's project management. I like it. But some of our folks don't think in Gantt charts. They do the reverse. They run from those Gantt charts. So they might want to see something in a sticky tab or Kanban board, right? So here they can come. And remember those buckets that we talked about. In this case, we created these, meaning the person that created this project came in here and created initiation, planning, and execution. These could be anything you want, okay? They're buckets by your design. Now, out of the box, you can get progress and finish date. So if I switch over to progress, I can see that things are not started. And this one, well, that's not really the right task name. So I need to go ahead in here and put develop task roadmap here. And you know what? I know that Denzel is gonna be really good at that. So I'm gonna add Denzel and I'm gonna remove these other folks. So very quick, easy. I can go in here and change my finish date if I want to. Here's my 16th. I'm gonna move it back. And everything else comes. And then for unassigned, you know what? This is develop. This is actually my planning area. And off we go. I could add a dependency. I'm not gonna do so. And we could also come here and send this link to somebody so they could actually have this link to review it, close, update, do whatever they want with it. Again, everything within this area is up for grabs. Now I'm going to copy that link. I'll show you what that link will do in just a second. Not started, here's that area. We have that develop roadmap, task roadmap. I'm going to move it over into my progress, okay? And as you can see, as I take this and move it all the way over, it completes, 100% complete. If I don't want to move that sucker back, I can simply just uncheck that. It moves right back to where I need to be. Now, the other cool area is just Excel. So people think in tasks and projects in a Gantt chart. That's cool. They think in sticky tabs or Kanban boards. And they also just, you know what? We just use Excel to manage tasks. What is this nonsense about all these other tools? Well, here you go. Grab Excel. This is Excel. Here are your columns. Add a bunch more if you want. If you want to see assigned to, etc. In this case, you know what? I want to see actual effort. I want to put some effort on here. I'm going to come into my design. You know what? That's not right. It's not 1,000 hours. It's only going to be half that. It's going to be 500 or whatever it happens to be. I can go in here and change that just as easily, change the duration, whatever I need to do here. If I want to hide this, not a problem at all. So we're looking at a project here rendered in Teams, very simply. How do we get people onto this? Well, right up here under my group, I can come in here and just type names. I can add people. Now, this might be an IT question for your organization, but you could, okay, send this to outside resources if you want to, okay, and really send it out directly if they let you, okay. Now they come out. IT would let you go external or internal in this case. It's really up to you and your IT group. But by allowing people to access this, then they'd be able to come in here and they'd be able to see this information at a project level. Now this is all great and we can start to see something. We talked about phases, but you said something about that task and we wanted to send it off to somebody. Sure. So I can do that in a couple different areas. Okay, I can actually come over here in my chat window and send a chat directly and say, okay, well, let's go ahead and, you know, I'm going to push this out. Hey, here it says, hey, you want to see some things? I say, sure, I got it. But I want to go ahead and send this out to somebody right here. In this case, send it off to Christina. I'm going to go in here and say, you know, did you complete this task? Whatever it happens to be. This is one way to do this. It's not the only way. And send that off to them. When they go ahead and click right directly in there, where are they going to be taken? Well, let's go ahead and take a look. Open it up. Okay, directly comes in. I do need to sign in if I'm Christina in this case. I'll go and show you that. It's going to drill us right back to that task, right in that project, right where we had for there. So I'm going to go ahead and let that redirect happen, show you that. So all of this is within one entity, okay? In this case, here's my project. It's pulling up, and you can see my task right here in the middle. All right, so sharing tasks, doing things like this, again, I'm communicating all in one area. When I come right back to that project, it drops me off right where I left it off in that schedule view, and I could go forward. Now, what if you wanted a report, a status report? Right here, we can save this. I can send this off to people, okay? Again, copying my link, or I can directly open this up. And folks, remember, with all of these, we can just start to have a conversation. Hey, why is that cost health yellow? Things like that. Again, folks might not be even on the same time zone, but we want to be able to. Now, why would we want to track some of this information and start talking about different things? Well, anything that we have in here, anything that we search for, anything that we type in is data, is knowledge collection. So when we go off and start doing reports, even if it's in any of these areas, we can start reporting on them. So that's a big trend that we're seeing here is recording your meetings, all of your meetings, okay? Because sometime very soon, right, it's going to recognize your voice. Does anybody know those Alexa things that are out there, or Siri's or Cortana, right? They're listening to us. Right now, I could say, hey, on this webinar, what are the three next steps that I said? It will go back, know my words, know who I'm speaking to, translate that off, and we'll have a list of everything that are to-dos right there for us. This is really coming. And if you don't believe me, let's show a little bit of this. Over in Power BI is one of these tool sets that I'm talking about. Now, using Power BI is going to take a look across, okay, the data set. And in this case, I'm going to go back into my projects. And I'm going to look across all my projects here, more of a portfolio, okay? I could have this directly pointing at just the status report for this project. But in this demonstration, I want to show you everything. So here's our portfolio dashboard. I can sort again by anything I want right here. Here's all my different projects, my Gold Lab, et cetera, all that's coming in here. And if I start to drill into these different areas, okay, I could start to see some information. Maybe I want to see only my workflow projects, okay? Here they are. If at any point I want to export this, I can go ahead and do that. If I want to take a look at risks and issues across all projects, here they are. I can click right in here, brings me right to that issue, right to that risk, and I can see that information. If I want to take a look at my resourcing or my resource capacity in this case, I can come in here. Here's my resource overview, drill right into, how many people are in the IT group, right? Drill right here. Well, what I've been talking about is a lot of clicks, right? Well, what happened to that question thing he was just talking about? I'll show you that in 1 second, but I do want to show you this project status report. All right, here's your project status report. You can come in, whoops, and just go ahead and create and select a project, in this case, CloudComm. I can drill right in, understand, okay, why is this thing yellow? Let's go ahead and click on there, go right back to that project. Well, in vein of asking questions and seeing tasks across all my projects, let's say in this case, we have another dashboard here. The reason I brought this one up is I just wanted to show, again, just a different filter here, or a different view for you to take a look at all this information. Well, in this case, we're taking a look here, and let me just blow this up here. There we go. So I'm taking a look here. I can see all of my tasks. I can directly link into all my projects. And what I like here is, look at this. This is pretty cool. The count of overdue tasks. Across all projects, across this project, I could drill in here if I want to. I could also come in here and sort, group, filter however I want, which is really nice. So all of this information is at our fingertips right here. Now, if I go back here and we just take a look at, there we go, go and get another dashboard here. This, my work, is an area that we can see only my things, okay? And right now, check this out. It's giving me all my overdue. So regardless of what project it's on, I click right in here and I see anything that's overdue. Now I defaulted this to overdue. You do not need that to happen. You could have all of your tasks right here, and I could see across all my projects what's happening. Overdue, things are late. What a great way to see all my tasks, okay, in one area across everything. So this is using a new content pack with Power BI called the Power Project for the Web content pack. Wanted to make sure that we showed you that. All of this is integrated directly within Teams here. And that's the key, right? Is get one key area. Now you don't have to use Teams, and if you're saying I don't have Office 365 or we don't plan on getting there, okay, that's one way, okay? But using a collaborative system like Project Server or Project Online, okay, you'll be able to see all your projects, see all your tasks, and again, that communication piece is the key that we're talking about here. Now, in and along this, we have projects here, low complexity. I gather high complexity is going to have a few more tabs. If I open that up, I can see. You might say, you know what? We just have a checklist. That's it. Things are done, not done. Well, they can come in here directly, right? It's Excel. Where's this coming from? It's a list of information. Well, folks, this is coming from our projects. It's just a different view. So they can come in here and say, yep, I'm done. Hey, what's this funny thing over here? This project charter, right? Oh, that's pretty interesting. Well, if I take a look at this project charter, where's all this stuff coming to? Back, we started with a file management system. Here's my project charter, right? Directly onto here, I could again open all this information in. It is all tied within my team. So rather than saying, hey, go and look in this folder or send them a link, okay, directly by putting in project charter, okay, it's going to link directly here, stored one place, one area, okay? And I don't need to know that it's in this high complexity project, as I showed before, over in this file. It goes across all these. So really good. The schedule we talked about, OneNote. All right, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about that. You folks probably take notes every day, whether it's in Outlook, whether it's in Word. We advocate using OneNote out of the box, integrated with Teams here. You can see that we have, in this case, some meeting minutes, etc. I have different pages that I have here. I can quickly and easily send these, you know, right here, copy this, share this, do whatever I want, all within OneNote directly. The issues area that we talked about, again, here is where we saw those two issues that were assigned to Denzel at the project level, a nice, easy capability. Now, for those folks that are out there taking a look at more of a detail, this is a little bit new for us. We've created a financial or any tracker, so invoice tracking, whatever it happens to be, in this case, more financial or cost-based, a glorified Excel pivot table, okay, that's in here. You can track just like you normally track. The difference here, once we put it in here and wrap it into this project, okay, and we're gonna render it here, now we can report on everything. So when we go off and do those reports, we're actually able to see the data tied into the project, whether it's capitalization, whether it's forecasted, planned, actual, and it doesn't have to be tied directly into a schedule. It could be an Excel or Excel-like format that folks are used to. Now, as you go off here and you create this, you might say, well, what if I have a project and I get it, we have all these tabs for everybody, but what if I want some financial data only for a certain subset of people? Well, you could have your project area, you know, just like I showed, your gates, all that good stuff up here. And then you can actually have a financial area that only a few people have access to this. And you can see this notified by this private right here. So this accesses people maybe for privacy, or maybe you have an area project that has internal and external users, and you only want internal users for a few things or a few areas. Well, perfect use case here. All that information can be stored at this level, this channel, and then everything else at the higher channel. So what we see today, we took a look at seeing the integration across teams for Microsoft 365, took a look at the new feature, Project for the Web, okay, looked at Project Online, all the helpful project management tools from OneNote, okay, to SharePoint, to workflow, as well as core project management. Took a look at some resource reports there with the content pack, the new content pack for a project for the web that's out there, and showed you all this within a one-click area. Last thing we wanted to show you, something pretty cool, pretty special, is we have created an area that does reminders, okay, in different tasks. So here it says, hey, you have an overdue task. And we just happen to show you the threshold here. 0 has been exceeded. Go off and take a look at this. So again, the bot in this case is looking at the data and saying, hey, I found something that you need to be alerted by. You have overdue tasks. Well, this is pretty cool. A lot of folks say, hey, we want to send it to email, and we sort of just hold off and cringe and say, no, don't go to email. Keep everything here, okay? Now, yes, you can email, and yes, you can do all that. But folks, we take a look on a daily basis. We live, breathe, and eat in Teams. We have external users. We have internal users. Personally, when I get off this webinar, the first thing I'm going to do is pull up Teams with I'm logged in and see over here if I have anything to do. Again, if anyone's talked to me about chat, I will come in here and respond to them. Or if I have an activity, a literal task to do, okay, or something else, I can directly see within here. So I hope you've enjoyed our view, our walk through PPM in the new era here. Really highlighting Project for the Web. Now, I did talk to you about the slides. We will have slides out there. And I wanted to quickly walk through all those things that we just talked to. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes walking through what you saw today. Teams, again, was that tool that collected everything. It is a wrapper, if you will. It is the central repository for everything. Okay, this allows you to integrate. Now, when we hear, hey, can you integrate? We first say, do you really need the data to integrate? Or can we just render and view it and report with Power BI? Since we've been asking this question with Teams, we truly have not had any integration projects. They've been visible. They've been data visibility projects. And this modernization, digital transformation that's happening all around us, that's really what we're advocating and pushing here. So it's that push towards visibility. Now, once you have your teams, again, we advocate that, you can pull in things like to-do list, okay, and everybody has that to-do area directly from M365. You can connect not only your to-do list, but your planner tasks that are out there. So one area for everything, as well as our project tasks. Again, we just heard task. Coming down very soon is going to be a tasks for teams. It's going to take those areas, pull them all in one, left-hand side, have a task button that's going to go across all your projects, all your to-dos, and all your plans. And it'll be pretty darn cool. We'll definitely make sure that we do a webcast on that when it releases. Azure, we talked about across. That is really going to be more of your Kanban board, your DevOps area. It is Scrum. You guys can do whatever you'd like. Coming from the developer world of TFS originally. Power BI, we had a little opportunity to see some of that. We really recommend that you go out there, go to powerbi.com today, log in with your work email address, and start seeing what you can do. There are a lot of samples out there. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Let us know if you have any questions, and we can definitely help you. This was that one area that I said, hey, you might want to take a look at. Work-life balance, folks. That's what this is. I use this. And what it does is it comes in and tells you, hey, you are too busy to actually get anything done. You say, what do you mean? I'm in meetings I'm in meetings all day. How am I actually supposed to get anything done? So what it does is it takes a look 2 weeks ahead and says, hey, I'm going to go ahead and schedule some focus area for you. So then when people are going ahead and making schedules for you and they add or they send you a request, it's already blocked. So you can say, nope, I can't do that hour. Let's push it a half hour. So you actually have time to focus. And it's not this intermittent 5-minute, 10-minute focus time. Boys and girls, we need to focus, change directions, really spend some time on some things to get things done. With all this, our at the ready, having our phones there, checking emails, doing this, it's gotten to a point where we're making ourselves less productive. So with productivity, start leveraging things like Power Apps. We showed you this. You can have an ideation portal that takes all your intake, any request that you have. This is really cool, okay? But it does come with some sort of governance. Just because you're doing all this doesn't mean you can't have that governance too. We showed you we've built an app here that takes all those requests. It goes through whatever your life cycle happens to be. Is this a low complexity, let's say, or a high complexity project, a program, or does it use some other tool? How do we bring it into our world? Look at here, everything's purple first, and then let's use our tool of choice, whether it's the Microsoft tool or not. That's what we're doing. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself. I do want to recommend and just go ahead and repeat that we do have some upcoming webinars. Here are a few, or go to ppmworks.com/events and see all of them, and are on demand as well here through YouTube. So you can go out and click on our YouTube channel. If you want to get started today, we recommend it. Go out and start working on all this. If you need us for a little help, Microsoft actually sponsors us, depending on your request, is we can actually sit with you and do a workshop with you, get you started. We can also do tips and tricks. So again, if that's of interest, go ahead and reach out. On the next slide, you can link into us or directly send a request to info@ppmworks.com, and we'll be able to go ahead and respond to that. On that, definitely want to make sure that you have yourself a great day. Enjoy the new year. And it wouldn't be something for all of us project managers out there if we didn't have a box to check. So go ahead and do something here. Right-hand side, ask for some free planning services if you qualify. Reach out to your Microsoft reps, okay? And also go ahead and set up an on-site or remote demo if any of this interests you folks. Again, connection and keep your contact going. Thank you very much and have a great 2020.